Hello everyone, my name is Pestolents and welcome to an Inquisitional briefing. Now before we get started, I must warn everyone here that if you are not on the approved class roster as either an Inquisitional agent, a flag officer of the Rogue Trader Morningstar, or an entrusted Inquisitional Strike Team member, STM, the Commissar will be seeing you shortly, if not meeting you outside. So this is your one fair warning that if you do not belong here, to leave immediately. But this briefing is only for the three types of people listed below. Again, Inquisitional Agent, Flag Officer of the Rogue Trader Morningstar, or Trusted Strike Team member. That being said, let's get started, everyone. I ain't got all day. First things first, you must know your enemy. The purpose of this briefing and the objective therein is to make sure that the mission planners know not to throw their Inquisitional agents away needlessly because of lack of proper planning. Strike team managers, there has to be a good reason to send the strike teams down into such a hostile environment unsupported. If we're going to risk throwing their lives away, don't get me wrong. We use them like bullets. We shoot them at the enemy. But we want to try and get them back. That's why we go through this training. So let's minimize the amount of suicide missions that we send them on. If you're a strike team member of a sanctioned strike team, this information will increase your combat effectiveness, reduce your time to kill, and more importantly, reduce your time on mission, greatly increasing your lifespan. Which brings me into point 3, increasing your survivability of a sanctioned strike team member. We are spending tens of dollars on your training so that we can have a better chance of getting you back, sending you on another mission. Rinse, repeat. And most of all, for the strike team members, we also want to reduce needless consumption of munitions. Remember, bullets cost money. Las gun charge packs cost money. Grenades cost money. And if you know how to engage the opposition forces effectively, you too will, 1, have a better chance of coming back, 2, increase your lifespan or increase your life expectancy, and 3, you will save. Every round of ammunition that you save is a round of ammunition that you can spend on the next enemy standing between you and your retirement. If spent wisely, you will make it to retirement. Of course, I'm sure luck has something to do with it as well. This is our first opposition force that we're going to cover today. This is the Crusher. It's the only enemy covered head to toe in carapace armor. Crusher is a deadly melee foe, capable of instantly killing a maxed out, highly trained strike team member. STMs need to remember Crushers exclusively lead melee groups. They're there to give you dilemmas, not problems. They're a problem in of themselves because of their hard to breach armor. However, they lead melee groups, which makes you have to make a decision. Am I going to eliminate the Crusher, allowing the melee group to do basically whatever they want while I'm dealing with the Crusher? Or am I going to single out the melee group, leaving the Crusher to do whatever they want to do? You see the dilemma here. The Crusher is there. It is a big, chunky boy, and it is hard to crack. This is why I personally suggest the crack grenade. It'll stick to their armor. They can't get away from it, and it will level them with one shot. And if you're lucky, it'll take some of their melee group out with them. Anybody that is a non-Ogryns strike team member could easily get put into a box from a single swing from the Crusher. Due to their hard carapace armor and their unyielding nature of the Ogryn, Crushers are very stagger resistant. Require concentrated firepower of either firearms or melee weapons. They're no less than a bolt gun to knock them back. Crushers and Maulers are particularly the only reason to consider adding damage against carapace armor. The only ones that carry it, but you know the ones that do because they're crunchy boys. They don't go down easy. When you're on mission, depending on where you shoot this Ogryn, you'll notice that it has the problem of carapace armor from head to toe. Unless you're shooting it right here around the neck area, you're not going to penetrate that carapace armor unless your weapon is specifically rated for it. And giving the difficulty rating of your mission, your Crusher may be harder or easier to take down. But regardless, if your weapon is not rated to breach that carapace armor, you're going to have a hard time clicking down any of these numbers. The next individual that we're going to be talking about in our briefing is the Bulwark, aka the Shieldgrin. Bulwarks are tanky, melee-only enemies equipped with a large bulletproof shield and a club. Again, the Shieldgrin is there to give you dilemmas, not problems. They typically appear leading scabs or dregs that are melee patrols, or stalker or shotgun patrols. Again, they're there to give you the dilemma. Do you focus down the gunner standing behind them, shooting around them, or do you deal with the problem that's walking towards you carrying a barn door that your weapon cannot breach? Again, any kind of grenade will help you. Throw it past the shield, unless it's a crack grenade. If it's a crack grenade, you can stick it right to the shield. It'll level them. Bulwark shields are immune to all weapons fire. They're immune to melee weapons fire. However, special attacks such as the Thunderhammer, area of effect such as the plasma gun, or crack grenade can bring this giant down. Just remember, the Bulwark shield is impenetrable and is best to flank around them. Use a flanking maneuver, get on their side, at which point they are unyielding. Let's see that in the next slide. As we see here, the head, body, and upper portion of the legs from the knee up are all classified as unyielding. They don't have any armor there. However, if you are trying to damage peak around that massive shield, you're going to be in for a hard time because they have carapace armor from the knee down. So if you're thinking you're going to shoot underneath their shield to take out their feet, you got another thing coming. If you think you're going to say, "Oh, I can shoot them in the arm," and they'll drop that shield, no. You got to get it on their torso, thigh, or head. And that's the only way you're going to make a good contribution towards reducing these numbers given your mission difficulty level. Let's continue on. The Reaper, or Gungryn. The Gungryn, or Reaper, is an intimidating Ogryn. It's armed with a twin-linked heavy stubber. Reapers essentially act as a significantly more resilient gunner and are almost always encountered alongside other dreg or scab gunners. Basically, they're the quasi tank. They don't need to take cover because they're the large target. That being said, you can bring them down. They are not well armored. We'll see that in the next slide. In ranged combat, they patrol around, and then once they find a target, they turn, they fix their target, and they fire. And they stand their ground until either the target is eliminated or they need to reload. And even when they need to reload, they don't see any need to take cover. One, because they're huge, and two, they're banking on their toughness to be able to weather whatever you can put out towards them. You can use an anti-personnel grenade to take these guys down. If you have a high damage output weapon, you can also just gun them down. I've also been known to use crack grenades to flatten these guys outright. Again, Reapers compensate for their inability to take cover by just being so big. They don't even try to take cover. They have the highest hit points on the mission. And this includes the other forms of Lost in the Damned Ogryns that we have already covered. Whether you're on Sedition all the way down to Damnation, they have the highest hit points of any single opposition force that you will come across. However, their armor is lacking. Their head and their arms, their head is unyielding, and their arms, with the exception of a couple pieces of carapace armor, their arms are mostly uncovered and also unyielding. Their legs have no real armor to speak of. Again, they're unyielding, so they can take a few shots without getting staggered. However, their chest, as you can see in the illustration to the left, does have some basic armor on it. We classified it as carapace armor. It can be breached, but it will slow down the time to kill. That being said, thank you very much for joining us on this short briefing today. I really want to thank everyone that helped make this happen. On a personal note, Gundam Builder and Viking Lord Fire, you guys are outstanding. You guys give me so much motivation to make more of these videos. MD Klein, thank you for your support. Same as the Great Unclean One. Thank you. For Falmir, Forgebind, and Skyrish Shays RPG, thank you for your other forms of support. I appreciate it. Let's keep on keeping on, guys. If you want to see more content like this, you can put a comment down below, or you can click on one of these fine links that I'm also going to put down below. It goes a long way towards helping me make more of this nonsense, because we all know that the nonsense must flow. Until next time, Strike Team members, please remember that the Emperor protects.